Alrighty, welcome to the video, and in today's video I'll be taking you through a training routine I've called Spring Loaded, and that is because it's a lower body focus routine to help with your running performance so your legs feel powerful and springy. Now, this routine can be performed once a week, ideally on the same day as one of your workouts, such as threshold sessions, tempo runs, or long runs for example. Perform 2 to 3 sets of the warm-up exercises at the beginning of this routine before moving on to the main working sets, which are broken up into supersets. So you have two options: either perform each exercise in a circuit from the first exercise to the last and then repeat that 1 to 2 more times, or you can perform each given superset 2 to 3 times before moving on to the next superset. If this is your first time performing this routine, start with a light weight on the weighted exercises and increase the weight over time as you adapt. All the best, I hope this routine helps, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to support this channel. Cheers mate! Begin by leaning your body up against the wall with your legs extended out in front of the body. Now with this exercise, the further your feet are away from the wall, the more difficult it is. So find a range that you are most comfortable with that you can perform the repetitions given in each set. Now from here, the movement is very simple. We are lifting the front of our foot up off the floor, keeping the heels on the floor, and we're contracting through the muscles up the front of our shin, and then we're returning the foot back down to the floor and repeating. We want to add a slight pause at the top of the motion to ensure that we are fully contracting the muscles up the front of our shin and even into the tendons in our ankles. Try to relax your thighs as much as possible and focus primarily on the shin and trying not to contract through the quads by keeping the knees just ever so slightly bent the entire time. Begin in a tall standing posture, pulling on the straps so the straps have full tension and your arms are fully extended out in front of your body at shoulder height. Now from here, lean back on the straps by pushing your hips back as far as you can, aiming to get a light stretch in the back of your thighs and your hamstrings, and push your head between your arms to stretch right through your spine. Then from there, lower as far down as you can control into a resting squat position by dropping your hips down and pushing your knees forward slightly, making sure that your toes and your knees and your hips are in line. So to do so, we have our foot position roughly hip width apart with the toes and knees slightly turned out to create this pocket of space for our hips to drop down to the ground position. Then from there, return to the standing position by pushing your hips back and up, and then repeat. Treat this as a nice gentle stretch, a warm-up or a cool down. Begin in this tall standing position with the barbell resting at the elbow joint and your arms in this bicep curl position. Now from there, perform a strong squat with your toes and knees slightly turned out to engage the hip muscles, keeping the barbell close to the body the entire time. Begin with the barbell resting on your upper back muscles just below the neck. Now from here, starting in a tall standing position, extend one leg behind the body, lower your entire body down to the point where your back knee is just above the floor, then push through the toes on that back leg to return to the standing position. Now key points to focus on is keeping a tall, strong posture the entire time, keeping your hips level and avoiding them from swaying side to side, and keeping your knees in line with your toes, keeping a strong, stable leg position the entire time. Find an exercise step or a box that you can comfortably jump onto with one leg. Now the hand and leg positioning with this exercise is very important. So we are balancing on one leg and our other leg is airborne. So as we extend our airborne leg behind our body, we are bringing the hand on the same side forward in this runner's stance, and then as we leap off our stationary leg, our airborne leg comes through, and then the opposite hand also comes through as we alternate our hand and foot position, and the stationary leg that we leap off of is the leg that we land on the step with. So as you can see, there are two main hand to foot motions going on here as we transition from the ground to the step. So take your time, be patient, and refine this movement. This technique is very important. This exercise set is comprised of two separate exercises. You will perform both exercises on one leg before switching to the other. So for the first exercise, we are in a tall upright position with dumbbells in hand, and we have our foot on an elevated surface. From there, we perform a step up with a knee drive. So at the top of the movement, we're driving our knee up as high as we can while staying as tall as possible on the stationary leg, locking out that hip to engage the glute and the hip muscles before returning to the floor. Once we perform the given reps on the step up, we place the dumbbells down and then we perform a step up jump. And we are alternating our arm swing to generate momentum and power. The focus is to jump as high vertically as possible and landing light on the toes on every single repetition. Swing your arms so your opposite arm is in front of the body to the leg that is in front of the body. Begin in this tall upright posture with tension on the straps. Now lowering yourself down into a squat, we are jumping out of the bottom position and pulling on the straps at the same time to increase the height. Now with that being said, in the early stages of learning this exercise, make sure that we're not focusing on jumping too high, we're getting the technique correct first. So as we lower into the squat, our toes and knees are slightly turned out to engage our hip muscles, and as we land after the jump, we're landing on our forefoot and softening through the knees as we lower back down into the next squat. Then with more experience, we can begin increasing the height of our jump. Maintain a fast tempo throughout, controlling every repetition.